Welcome to the Let's Talk Fabulous show. I am Gloria Grace Rand, your host this week, and we are celebrating friendships today because it is National Friendship Day. And I have a fabulous panel of women who are going to be joining me shortly. So if you want to learn all about, the benefits of making friends and how to keep them, why don't you go grab a friend and let's talk. Hello again and welcome to the Let's Talk Fabulous show. And I've been just so excited this whole week to talk about friendships, especially because all of these ladies I know and I consider them my friends. Some of them I've known for a while and some of them I've known a short while, but that's the beauty of friendship. So what I thought we would do is go around the room and just have these ladies, lovely ladies, introduce themselves. So I'm going to go we're going to start with Christine Catoggio. You're on my left, right? Yeah,
yes.
Something like that.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christine Catoggio, and I'm in Boca Raton, Florida. Usually sunny, not so much today.
All right, welcome. And Beverley, let's go to you next.
Oh, I'm just the opposite. I'm Beverley Glazer, and I'm speaking to you from Montreal, Canada, which is usually freezing, but right now it's really warm.
Love it, love it. And Sheila, how about you?
Hi, Sheila Clemenson. I am in Louisville, Colorado, and it is hot and it's dry, and we need some rain.
We'll send you some.
Thank you. We need it.
All right. And last but certainly not least, Sherinata.
Hi, I'm Sherinata Pollock, and I am in the South Tropics, just a little bit further south than Christine, in Cooper City, Florida, Fort Lauderdale area.
All right. Well, I am so glad that you are all here, and we're gonna dive right into our discussion. But first, we're gonna sort of set the tone with one of the videos that one of our wonderful women submitted.
Hi, I'm Beverley Glazer, your guide to reinvention and empowering your life. And friendships should be easy, and they should be supportive. Your friends should not drain you. But women have a habit of giving too much, and that's not healthy. So here are a few tips just to remind you. You need to be the one to set those boundaries. No one else can do this. It's okay to communicate your needs and to set your limits. It's okay to say no and not feel guilty about it. It's okay to decline those invitations if you're not feeling like going. True friends are accepting, and they're also forgiving, and you will not lose them. The authentic people in your life will always understand.
I love that. And I also want to encourage those of you who are watching this, whether you're watching live on replay, but definitely let us know what your thoughts are about friendship. But I'm going to go ahead and put Beverley on the spot here and let her kind of share with us a little bit more about about the importance of kind of setting boundaries. We don't always think about that, do we, when we think about friends?
No, we really don't. And this is why women get hurt. And I'm saying particularly women because women really give with their heart, don't we? We give with our heart, we give to our children, we give to our families, we give to not only our loved ones, we give to our jobs. We put ourselves out there. And we have to know when to draw the limit, even with the people that are very, very, very close to us. We can't expect that just because you're going to be giving and giving, that someone else is going to be giving and giving back. And so you have to set the boundaries with how much you can give. And when you do that without any expectation, friendship will thrive because people will know and people will understand what's acceptable to you, and you as well are giving what you can.
Yeah, I love that. Anybody else have any thoughts about that? Okay. just jump in. Go ahead. Or not, as the case may be. Yes.
Boundaries, I think, can be tough for us who are givers and who are people who, they want to say yes. You're yes people, right? And you don't want to say no, especially if a good friend needs you. But I do agree that, sometimes there need to be some limitations around giving of ourselves and, making ourselves a priority sometimes, when we realize that a lot of our time is our most valuable resource and commodity. And usually we give those to people who need it and to people that we want to spend our time with. But I think it's important for us to be thoughtful about ourselves too.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely need to do that. And you know what? I think this is a good time. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to share your video right now. So hang on.
Great.
Hi, I'm Sheila Clemenson. I love this talking about friends and celebrating these amazing people in our lives. And what is it about friendship that is so important to me? I believe that having strong support systems will get you through some of your most challenging times. And really being a good friend to somebody is, yes, showing up through all the fun times, but it's also showing up through the times that are most challenging and difficult. I've been able to rely on my dearest friends through so many of the challenging times in my life that I really would not have made it through without them. So I just have to say I value and I appreciate these wonderful people in my life. And it also teaches me how to be a better friend by showing up for them in ways that I know that they need and in ways that maybe they don't even know that they need.
Yeah, I think that's so important. You want to say anything else about that, Sheila?
Yeah, I just want to say that I've been through a lot in my life, right? And I have relied on friends like extended family. I lived on Kauai for several years and I call them my ohana. And your ohana is your family, your friends that you pick as your family. And I have pockets of them in different parts of the world and country. And, I've written a book around it, of course. My first husband, Grant, had ALS, and that was 30 years ago now that he was diagnosed, and he passed away in 1999. So I want to say that, if not for my friends, we could not have made it through what we had gone through. And we made it through it successfully because of all of the wonderful family and friends in our lives. So,
Yeah. Anybody else want to add to that? Because I think that's so important. Because I do love that you mentioned that, friends are like the family that we get to pick.
Yeah.
In my case, I only have a brother and I always wanted a sister. And I've been blessed with friendship in my life that really is just like sisterhood. It really is. We share every nuance of our lives together and we're there for each other and support each other constantly.
I love that.
Yeah, I have one brother also. I have 3 really good friends who I've known since grade school, and they are my extended sisters. We call each other the biddies. And the 3 of them are together right now, and I'm not there because one of them, her mother passed away, and it's breaking my heart that I can't be there. So I had to bring them into this podcast today. Thank you.
I love that. Well, I tell you what, I think we're going to go ahead and share another quick video right now. And because I think it relates to this too.
I'm excited to be celebrating friendships on National Friendship Day. I've been so blessed throughout my lifetime to have so many amazing friendships, some even lasting over 50 years. True friends really are like diamonds. They're unique, they're valuable, and they're priceless.
All right. Well,
That's beautiful.
Christine, yeah. Let's have you talk a little bit more about that. What is it? I like that you said that they make their friends are like diamonds. So what is it about friendships that make them that way?
I think the long-lasting ones mostly are indestructible. You can get through just about anything together. You can argue and disagree, but nothing will ever change the bond that you have. And then there again, I'll refer to them. It's definitely a sisterhood. It's one of those. Call me anytime. I don't care if it's 3 a.m. And you'll take that call and do whatever they need done. It's just such a tight knit bond that really can't be broken. It really can't be broken. It really, and even in these challenging times, you may have differences of opinions, but we can still sit and talk things through. It's not a question of, you said, she said. And, of course, in our lifetime, I think we've all experienced some friendships like that. But when you really have a true friendship, it is really unique. It really is. And that's why, even with all the friendships that we have in our lifetime, there are always those that will be with you through thick and thin.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I wanted to ask, because I don't think we've really touched on this yet, but I know sometimes, because with any relationships, we can sometimes either get mad at our friends or they can get mad at us. So does anybody have any good tips on how to handle conflicts?
I think I just interesting because I just had a little conflict with a longtime friend. And, it's funny because I think that no matter who you are as a person, it's understanding people unconditionally. And we're not ever going to get along with everybody at every single time of our life, every minute of our life. Our spouses, our sisters, brothers, obviously, bigger scale, friends, and then, going into all this craziness that's going on out there in the world. We have conflict is everywhere, but the peace is inside of you. And when you can, I believe, live in a world where you're understanding the peace rather than the judgment, and if you have a conflict with a good friend, it's going to be okay as long as you talk about it, and you apologize or come to a solution. It's no different than having, a good relationship with a spouse, because you don't want to go to bed angry. And even if you have to give a little space for a little bit, just come back again. And that's exactly what we did. And, and sometimes you don't even have to go and say, oh, it's your fault, because I don't think, truly good friends are unconditional. And we're friends without conditions.
Yep.
And I think that's the most important part about it, is that you have this beautiful alignment and energy when all of a sudden you just meet somebody and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be friends with you for life, and you are, because because we just have this amazing energy together. So, and sometimes we're there for a season, a reason or a season or a lifetime.
Exactly.
And that's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love we had this great comment from our dear friend of the show, Steampunk Poe, who says true friendship is like sound health, and the value of it is seldom known until it is lost. And I think that qualifies for this. Yeah. So, well, you know what? I think, right about now, I think I'm going to go ahead and play Sherinata's video right now, since you're in the mush pot at the moment.
Oh my gosh, I have so many friends on Facebook and Instagram. It's just amazing. Anyway, it's not the truth. True friends, real friends, not followers, not just people that just pass you by on social media. True friends are like gold. They're rare and they're hard to find. And sometimes you just see somebody and you just, bam, you know it. You're like, I'm going to be friends with you for life. And then maybe you might not talk to them again. I know I've done it. But guess what? I can pick up the phone a year later and we never left off. That's a true friend. No strings attached, unconditional, just like my dog. She loves me no matter what. And that's how true friends are. And I think in order to get great friends, you got to be a good friend. So be in the alignment that you want for great friends, and you'll always have one.
And I love that you started off with social media. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think, the
great.
difference between social media friends and, true friends, like you said.
Yeah, I think it's just pretty amazing. It's that dual conflict once again. We have all these amazing friends on social media, and truly we can keep in touch with the past, the present friends, people that we meet here, at an event, or people that we don't even know. Oh my gosh, you're my friends. Yet, the true friends are the ones that do come through, and the transparency, the authenticity, we can say it over and over again. Social media can be so damaging to our emotional well-being. And it's not, there is so much that's real and there's so much that's not real. And what's truly real is when you pick up a phone and talk to somebody, when you see somebody at a celebration, when you go out to eat with somebody. It's interesting. We just went out with some friends last night, and we hadn't seen for a while, and we both have been traveling a lot through Europe. And oh gosh, actually we had this dinner that was like a European dinner because we just talked and talked and talked, and we didn't want the dinner to end at all. And we're like, this is what people do in Europe. They sure, there might be calling and texting people, and not that many people are on social media. I mean, there are a lot, but it seemed like there weren't as many. And I just find that we need to communicate more, and we need to be real more, and we need to come back to being us again, being true friends with each other.
I agree. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyone else have any thoughts on that? Maybe Beverly, or because I know you're active on social media.
Oh, I'm so eager to talk about that. I really am. Because the older we are, the more losses we also have in our lives.
Mhm.
And I think that has to be acknowledged. And friendship can, which is just incredible, be developed on social media.
Yeah.
You can form friends on social media, and it cuts the loneliness. There are communities that I belong to and that I've even created that people get on every day to communicate with the friends on social media. And if I can just mention a wonderful community that's available to everybody, it's really women over 55 communicating with each other. It's called the Golden Life Community. And they want nothing. There's no payment here. You can go and you can just talk to your sisters. As you mentioned, Christine, it's a sisterhood. And you don't have to even know these people, but we all have gone through specific journeys, similar but different, and we can identify with each other. And it's amazing how women come together on social media all over the world, just because we're women, just because we're over 50. It's incredible. That's all I could say. But you have to take that baby step and reach out and say, what is that about? Because it's completely new. So be adventurous, take the risk. And I have met such wonderful people online that I would never have met before, because the world is just open. So I just have to say that.
I love it. Yeah. Thank you so much for bringing that up. One thing I wanted to talk about, and I wonder, and I'll put this up open to the floor, maybe even Sheila, if you want to talk about this, is what advice would you give for some, because you touched on this a little bit, Beverly, about, sometimes it is a little bit harder to find friendships when you're older, and certainly looking for groups is one way, but how else can you, if there's somebody who's struggling to make friends for whatever reason, what advice would you have for them to be able to make that first step to try to connect with someone?
I think that people need to find what they enjoy and what they love to do. And, whether that's a hobby, whether that's, some kind of social situation, I think that you have to be willing to put yourself out there and you have to be willing to try new things. And I think that it's challenging, but there are a lot of meetup groups out there. There are a lot of community opportunities depending on where you live. And I think that sometimes we don't want to go out unless we're invited. And sometimes we have to be bold enough to just go and be uncomfortable with people that we don't know so that we can get to know them.
That's true.
I can relate to that. I'm sorry, but I'll just say one quick thing is that, especially even when I was younger, sometimes it was that I found that I needed to make that first effort. I needed to go and pick up the phone and call someone. I remember inviting people over to my apartment to celebrate my birthday. Well, actually, I even did this just recently, a couple years ago. I planned a retreat to celebrate my birthday because I didn't want to celebrate it alone. So I reached out and had some wonderful people there. So yeah, sometimes you do have to do that. Who else has some thoughts on that? Yeah, go ahead, Sherinata.
Well, yeah, because you just hit the nail right on the head. That was so important what you just said. So I always raise my children with me, just saying the same quote is like, if you're not invited to the party, you create the party. And that's it. Well, me, I love parties. I'm always doing some type of circle of some sort. And oh gosh, it's so easy. I mean, I think friendships sometimes are really challenging. And when you're younger, they're challenging. And, women can be catty, like CATTY, like, and even older, it's like, sometimes we don't see eye to eye. It's so funny because men, I found out, are so transparent. Men don't care. They're just in their little, like, I take you for what you are. Just exactly. It doesn't matter what you wear, what you do. And women are very judgmental and, and insecure in so many ways. And it's like, can we just be and just drop all that and put your hand out and just invite the people. Do what it is that you can do. Oh, look at
that. I love it.
Yes. And, and because, it is so true. It's like we are here to serve. We are born in this world coming in here to give and to receive. And it's like, if we're there to help a friend out, they may not be there for us one day, but guess what? Somebody else will be there. And it's like when we ask for help, people are there, but the hardest thing is asking for help. So I think the biggest thing is like learning to ask for help as a woman. And the more that we ask for help, the more friends are able to show up. And if you're not invited to that specific party, it's okay. You just go ahead and create your own.
Create your own.
Yeah. I want to piggyback on that, talking about asking for help. I find that's fascinating. As a caregiver, I had to ask for help, or I had people ask me, my friends ask me, what can I do for you? And sometimes you don't know what it is that you need. Really great friends can read your mind sometimes, and they just know what you need if they know you well enough. But often you can't expect people to know what you need. So I often will say, you have to think about who's good at what and who can you ask to do certain things for you that that they're really good at. So you don't give somebody the skills that they're not good at. You go, I need help with this, or I need help with that. And so I think that being thoughtful about that is something that's important too.
And it's okay.
Sorry, I had to get that in there. I thought that was good.
It's okay if they don't even do it perfectly, because sometimes it's just like, let them help you. Just like sometimes people don't unload the dishwasher the same way you do. Hey, they're unloading it. It's okay. Or they're not folding clothes the same way as you do. It's okay. They're folding clothes. So just, it's okay if somebody does do shopping or cook something for you. It may not be exactly the way you do it yourself, but they showed up and they did it. And that's something to be grateful for.
And I wanted to tag on that too, because when we were talking about making friends, we really need to be more approachable. and understand that there are some people that have difficulty approaching other people. And exactly what we're talking about now, I live in a community of 55 plus, and so there are lots of people who don't want to reach out. But when you know they need something, you know they've had a surgery, so you bring something. Or one woman recently lost her husband, and we're not really friends, but just, it was just a hi. And so when I was at Publix, I brought home some sunflowers and just went to the door and said, just to brighten your day. And it's those little things. Now we talk all the time. It's really just opening that door and letting people know that you're there for them if they need it.
Yeah, that is so important.
I have a friend who's going through a lot with a husband who has cancer, and I told her, I said, I am a big ask for you because I've been a caregiver before, right? I'm like, I'm a big ask. You can ask me anything and I'll be there and I'll do it for you. Just keep that in mind at some point in time and you will know that. I just think it's important for us when we ask friends or we tell friends that we're there for them, that we are there for them and that we make a point to be there for them, and not just talk about it, but like really help them to see that.
Yeah.
That is so important. I just have to add to that, Sheila. If you have difficulty asking, and I'm one of those people, one of those people that like doing it all myself, right? Well, the thing to do is what I do for others is I just do it. And we have to understand, and I'm talking to myself, note to self, ask. Be free to ask. And it's okay if you don't get it. That's probably the reason I don't ask. I don't want to be rejected, just in case, that kind of thing.
I have to tell you, I want to piggyback on that, Beverly, because when I was a caregiver and people would say, let me know if you need anything, I would stop them and I would say, I want you to know I don't need you right now, but when I do need something, I will reach out to you and I will ask and I will need you. And so I will look them in the eyes and I will tell them. So it's kind of like, just knowing that they know how serious you are and they're just not small talking that, right? If they offer it.
That's perfect. And Sheila, I'm keeping you in mind.
Well, you just have to, I'm talking about 4.5, 5 years of being a caregiver to someone who was terminally ill, right? So I come in from that perspective, and clearly I brought people into my life who could show up in that space. There will be friends for the rest of my life. You can rewrite your entire contact list by the people who show up for you when you go through something like that. So they are an interesting breed of friends too, Well,
you know what? That brings me to a quick little question is, let's talk about that a little bit, that there are different types of friends out there. There's and they all have value. So, there's in fact, there's friends that you met when you were in school, and some maybe you're still lucky enough to be friends with today. I can count on my hand, that I do still have some friends from then. But I think just let's talk about that a little bit. The importance of recognizing that there's, sometimes there's business friends, there's personal friends, but they all have some value. What do you think?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And building relationships, it all boils down to a conversation and building a relationship. It all boils down to us being, as human beings, being courageous. Like somebody had said earlier, there's a lot of fear in stepping up to create a friendship. There's a lot of fear in stepping up to ask for help. And that is something that when we have these fears about, showing up and asking for help, it's a reflection on ourselves that, we just want to be givers. We just want to, keep going and going. So getting back to your question, which I just forgot for a second.
But different types of friends. kind of the value of different types of friends in our
Exactly.
lives.
So it's so important because when you're in business, you need those people who are business friends. And as you nurture that relationship, Gloria and I will be friends for life. Like, we are lifers, you know? And it's like, Christine, you and I have known each other forever. We haven't picked up the phone in a long time. But gosh, when we see each other, we could probably have a conversation that's going, wow, that circle's like crazy. You know?
It's
So
true.
I think it's really about opening that heart on every level in your life, right? Just every level of your life. And knowing that you might have that, you know, if you're a churchgoer, have that church friend or that spiritual friend,
Right.
that childhood friend. And they show up because, you know, you have different phases in your life, like we said, for a reason, a season,
And a lifetime. Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to share another video right now that this is one actually that I put together, and it's about something else that's going on today, but it still relates to what we're talking about. I am extremely fortunate in that my older sister, Michaela, was not only my big sister, she was also my best friend. And I'm not sure that she felt that way when I was born, considering that there were 10 and a half years difference between us, but she was a good big sister and took care of me anyway and put up with me. And I so appreciate that about her. And as I got older, of course, we got along better, and it was wonderful to be able to have her there for me whenever I needed her, when I needed a shoulder to cry on, she was there. And I'm very, very blessed to have had an older sister in my life, so that I could say was not only a sister, but also a friend. Yeah, so I thought we could talk about that a little bit too, about, you know, sometimes, well, today is National Sisters Day, and sometimes even if you don't have a sister, your friend, you might have a lovely woman friend who is like your sister. I mean, I have another friend who she's like my soul sister. I call her that because we even have birthdays within a week of each other. So we're like really connected. What do you all think about that?
Having a sisterhood, you know, whether you're a blood sister, which I have one, thank goodness, and we have nurtured, you know, when we were younger, we never wanted to get along. She couldn't stand me. I was a little sister who was like, you're the little sister. Whenever I want, and you want all the limelight. And, you know, and it's so funny, we're in business together now. And, you know, and even though we don't see eye to eye, once again, it comes down to a conversation. It comes down to, it's okay. We all have our own opinions. And sisterhood, like Christine said, you know, we have like having like good sisters where you can talk about anything, whether blood or not, as a friend. It's so important because you can talk about, you know, spirituality, you can talk about authenticity, you can cry, you can laugh, you can share memories, you can go forward in life, and it's all good, you know. So I think that, you know, sharing sisterhood, you know, sisters or not.
Just recently, I called a friend that on Facebook, we kept saying, we need to catch up. We need to catch up. It's probably been about 6 months since we spoke. And I was on the phone with her an hour and a half. We never skipped a beat. It was exactly like we spoke yesterday. And she's giving me advice about things, and I'm giving her advice about things. And it was such a great feeling because that bond, time doesn't matter. There's no time limit. It's just, as Sherinata said, you just pick up the phone and it's as though time stood still. We're still part of each other's lives. We still know everything that's been going on. We're still there to support each other. And if one of us needed to be there for the other, we would be there in a heartbeat. So, and I have another friend, as she was talking, I was thinking of this, who is a friend for over 50 years. And she actually was my boss 50 something years ago. And we despised each other. And, and then we found common ground, and we've been able to maintain that relationship. There are a lot of hardships in both our lives, but we've been able to remain that. She flew from Jersey to Florida for my birthday. I mean, we just have that kind of thing, is like, I'll always be there for you. And it's unspoken. It's just unspoken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead, Beverly.
That's how I feel I don't have any sister. First of all, I always wanted a sister. I had an imaginary sister. I always wanted a sister, never had a sister. But my good friends, and some of them go back, gosh, 50 years when I noticed, oh my gosh, they are sisters. There's no way of describing that closeness, that connection, and you don't have to speak to them every day. You don't even have to speak to them once a month. But when you pick up that phone, you're there. And you can go back with these people. It doesn't matter what you've said, what's gone on, the arguments, no arguments, it doesn't matter. And that bond of friendship, I've spoken to so many men about it. They don't get it. They really don't get it. And it's like they had kind of a brotherhood, or if you want to call it, but it's not this kind of bond, the emotional bond that women have with each other, that kind of friendship. And I don't think there are no words for that. It's just wonderful.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to piggyback on Gloria, Grace, because you and your sister are 10 years apart. My brother and I are 10 years apart, and I'm the older big sister. And at my wedding, my brother got to meet my friends who are lifelong friends who are my sisters. And my brother said, "Oh my God, your friends are so cool. How did I not know how cool your friends were?" And I'm like, "Because you were like 2 when we were 12. And like, we were not going to hang out with you. But like now my brother's connected with my friends and they've taken him in as their little brother too. And that's just so amazing."
Yeah, I definitely relate to that. And especially because the thing is, my sister moved away to college when I was 7. So I didn't really get to develop a good relationship with her until I was an adult. But thankfully we were able to do that. But that's great that your brother's able to do that.
It's so special. It really is. And they're all like, "Your brother's so fun and so funny. And your friends why are your friends? I never knew they were so cool." And I'm like, I can still be cool in my 50s. Yay.
I love that. What I'd like to do right now, we've been celebrating on the Let's Talk Fabulous show over the last few weeks. We've been talking a lot about legacy, and the comment I put up earlier from Steampunk Poe, we call him Steampunk. He put together a wonderful, wonderful song, and I would really like to be able to play that for you right now because it really is. It touches with what we're talking about today too.
In the quiet moments, when the sun begins to rise, we find the strength within us. In the stories of our lives, not in gold or glory, but in hearts we've touched with grace, in the love we share with others, in each kind and gentle face. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held and the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you sparked in others, in the stories that are told. Through the trials and the triumphs, in the battles that we fight, it's the courage and the kindness that will always shine so bright. In the lessons that we teach and the dreams that we inspire, in the way we lift each other higher and higher. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held and the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you sparked in others, in the stories that are told. In the final song you sung, and the curtains drawing near, It's the moments filled with love that will echo year to year, in the footprints on the path that guide the lost and blind. Your legacy will live on in the hearts you've left behind. Your legacy is the love you leave behind, in the hands you've held, in the souls you've helped to find. It's the laughter in the children, the wisdom in the old. It's the light you've sparked in others, in the stories that are told. So let's live with open hearts and give with all our might, for the legacy we leave is a beacon in the night, in the echoes of our actions, in the whispers of the wind. Our legacy of love is where it all begins. Our legacy of love is where it all begins.
Your legacy will live on in the hearts you've left behind.
I love that.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
beautiful.
That is beautiful. Yep.
That was amazing.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about, you know, family certainly as part of the legacy, but I think also, you know, these, as we've mentioned, I think today, is that these friendships are really, they become like family, and so it is that legacy that we have. What other? Actually, I'm just going to throw it open to the rest of y'all here, because I'm running out of questions. So what else? What else have we? I'll put it up to you. So what else have we? Do we need to cover when it comes to friendships and how important it is?
Well, one thing I was going to say real quick, which the song, which was totally amazing song. I want to definitely, if it's on Spotify or something, I want to definitely find it. And is, you know, we talked about sisterhood, and yet we still have, you know, men, and, you know, men can be great friends to women, and women can be great friends to men. And, you know, and we get to share, you know, whether it's it's interesting because there's such a different perspective, you know, for men as for when men are friends with women, and, you know, not lovers or whatever it might be. And you just learn so many different things from their perspective, which is completely different. And I just want to honor that, because, you know, we might be very feminine, they may be very masculine, or maybe we can share some of our femininity as we, you know, absorb some of their masculinity, and we get to create a blend and an understanding. I was just at a little mini retreat, and it was quite interesting because, you know, a lot of women have been hurt from that, and then they get cut off, and they're like, I don't want any men in my life. And, you know, it's like amazing because I'm like, not all men are that way. That's just the perspective that you have at this moment, and that was coming out on the retreat. And it's like, you know, we've all been hurt before, whether it's a woman or a man, as a friend or a lover. And it's so important for us to take reflection within and heal our hurts and heal our pains, so we can be good friends to ourselves, so we can be good friends to other people. And it's that pure alignment that we have, and, you know, with ourselves, and respecting and loving who we are, to become that great friend and receive.
Yeah.
You brought up two key points there, and I definitely want to follow up on, and I'm going to have you come back on, Christine, in a second. But I love that, yeah, the importance of having men friendships, having friendships with men, and the men perspective. And I apologize for not having the guy's perspective on the show today. So I'm so sorry. If I ever do this again, I'll make sure I do that. But also about being a friend to yourself. So I think that's it starts with ourselves. We've got to be our own best friend sometimes before we can even start those other relationships. So Christine, did you have something you wanted to add to?
Yeah, I did actually, because most times as we get older, we have our close friendships. But there are yet some people who are very alone as they get older and they haven't maintained those friendships. And that is the time where they really need that even more so. They need to be part of society. They need to feel that bond that someone cares about them and is concerned about them. And friendship is really important for a lot of the older people who really have just kind of isolated themselves. And I think men have a tendency to do that even more. And I just recently had this conversation with my brother, and who's 2 years older than me, and he actually found a men's community in his church. And he said, this is the best thing I ever did, because they have so much in common. And a lot of these people you may never have thought as your friends, or someone that you would be friends with if you met them anywhere else. But when you start sharing the common ground and you start sharing your lifelong stories and a lot of the legacy that you want to leave, I think it creates a very special bond that is so needed, especially for the elderly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I also would like to mention too, because I've seen that so many times, women who have put everything into their career and now it's time to retire or to move on, and they haven't really made time for friends. They have superficial friends, business friends, travel friends, but no close friends.
Right.
And there is this gap. And I've heard and I've been asked, it's like, Bev, what do I do? Where do I find friends? Well, we can't just find friends. But we have to be the person we want to find. That makes any sense. Okay.
Yep.
You have to go out into the community and enjoy specific things with others and not look for friends. You're not going to find them as if you're searching. It's something that you connect with. And we know right here, just talking to us all, I can all be your friends. I mean, it's like there's something we can all talk about, right? And it's that gut feeling, and we have to trust our gut. We really do. We can't just put up these boundaries because we've been hurt. We have to slowly allow them to come down and to accept other people in. And if there's a conflict, we have to also not just shut them off again. Understand people have different perceptions. People have different perspectives. Hear what there has to be said. There is common ground. And if people are worth it, and if you want to make it worth it, and if you want them in your life, you have to step out of your comfort zone and allow them to come in. So it's a two-way street. Friendship with everything is a two-way street. And it's very hard as an older woman who's had an awful lot of losses, or who has given everything to everyone else, including their dog, and they lose the dog too. It's so very hard. And so we also have to understand that friendship matters, particularly when we're older.
I want to say something to piggyback on that. Having different friendships with different age groups is something that my husband and I pursue. We have some dear friends that are 31 and 34, and we're 56 and 62. I mean, I think that it's really important that you have a variety in your friendships too. You have some younger friends and you have some older friends. And I don't think it has to look a particular way. Sometimes people will think it's really weird. Like, why do you have friends that you go on vacation with? It could be your kids. And we're like, we have a great time with them and we laugh a lot and we love them. I'm like, why not? It's great. They keep us young too, So sometimes I find that, I can be friends with people in their 80s and I can be friends with people in their 30s. And that variety, I think helps keep us young as we get older too. And, I've got two amazing stepdaughters, and I've got other people that are like Hanai daughters, like people who, are adopted, kind of Ohana too. And I'll go back to that Ohana, really, that, sometimes our friends that we pick as our family can sometimes be the closest to us than even some people in our family can. And so,
Yeah. Excellent point. I thank you for bringing that up, Sheila, for sure. We're starting to run down on time here a little bit. So I'd love for you to go, let's kind of go around one more time and just share, one last maybe tip about how to even go out and, start reaching out to people or trying to, where you can go to make friends or anything else that has come up today that you want to share. Let's see. Let's start with Sherinata.
Okay.
Put you on the spot.
I'm glad you said that, actually, because I was just thinking if somebody can, just reaching out to, like reaching out on social media, there's so many groups, like we said earlier, and to connect, but sometimes it's the local community. So if everybody says in one place that they can go in a community, I think it would be fantastic. So I'm just going to say, maybe if you don't have any friends for a good friendship, start with them, go into meetup.com, meetups, and find groups and just, show up, and you don't know what you're going to find, if you like dancing, if you like, there's a meetup for everything. You've never heard of a meetup before. There's a meetup for everything. If you like making models of airplanes, there's a meetup for that, walking and exercising and whatever. So that would be my thing, is just, go out and find a meetup and get the courage to show up and just have fun. That's all it is, because when you're not in alignment of having fun, other people will be there too with you.
I love it. I love it.
It's
How
true.
about you, Christine? What's your last bit of wisdom?
Volunteer. There's always someone that needs whatever it is you can do for them. There's so many ways. It could be, in an animal shelter. It could be in an assisted living facility. There are so many places that need people, and it's a great way to not only solve your friendship quota, but to help other people, because in most of those cases, there are people there that need friends too.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Beverly? What other?
Go to activities that you love. If you love art, take art classes, go to museums. If you love restaurants, meetups are great if you don't know anybody. And there are many different meetups that were mentioned, but these would be specific to restaurants. So at least you could try something out. Don't go specifically with the idea of meeting somebody. I don't think that's the right attitude at all. Go with something that you want to do. If you want to teach your dog how to behave, go to one of those meetings and meet dog people. Just be open. And the more open you are in baby steps, the more receptive other people will be to you. And don't think that you can't make friends. Don't think you can't anything. Just do it.
Love it. Love it. Sheila, how about you?
I really am about that volunteering and community support. And for me, connecting with the local Chamber of Commerce has been amazing. I think visitor centers, community centers, different places like that where you can be a part of the community and grow that way. That can be a really good way to connect with other people, is doing community projects and community supportive things.
Yeah, excellent. One other thing, and I know we've had a couple of comments go by here earlier today, but we didn't touch on it. Maybe we can just do it briefly. We got about 2 minutes left. The other friends that we have are the furry ones, the four-legged ones. Does anybody here have a friend? What do they think about that? Because I know I have 2 cats myself.
I have furry and feathery. I have a dog and a bird.
Very good.
I'm babysitting one right now. I can't have any where I live.
She's sweet.
And I want to say I lost mine just recently, about a month ago. I lost my girl. She was 11 and she lost her fight with cancer. And, losing your furry friends can be the hardest things ever because they teach us unconditional love and they're just there for us. And so I want to say that, I want to acknowledge that loss, and I want to acknowledge the loss of those furry creatures in our lives and all the pets in our lives, because they're there for us through everything. And so I want to say sometimes they're the ones who love us unconditionally more than anybody. And I just want to say and taught me that as my
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just in a couple of weeks, we're gonna have to put ours down, and we're not looking for. She's 14, and
my heart goes out to you.
So sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's in those times we have to treasure the memories and remember how much joy and love that they gave us. And, and then when the time is right, you'll be able to, perhaps get another pet. So this has just been so amazing. I knew we were going to have a fabulous show today talking about friendships. And I so appreciate everyone who has been also watching and commenting. We've had lots of some amazing comments that have come through. So thank you for all that you do. And and I guess, okay, you know what? We're going to do one more thing. One word about friendship. I'm just going to pick on you. Beverly, one word about friendship.
Love. That was the first word that came to mind.
All right. Christine.
Unconditional.
Okay. Sheila.
Laughter and humor, because we were that in our lives.
Absolutely. Sherinata, how about you?
Connection.
Excellent. Well, I think for me, I would say friends are fabulous. And with that, we're gonna wrap it up, and we will love to see all of you next week for another edition of the Let's Talk Fabulous show.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to say thank you for joining us today and welcome you back next Sunday as we once again are joined by a panel of subject matter experts that will explore and focus in on our fabulous lives. Until next Sunday.